Well, guys, first on location episode of Teachable Moments. It's 1,002,000,002 here at the Lindenwood Mega Camp. Hopefully, my computer doesn't go up in flames during the conversation, but really fortunate to squeeze Tyler Roehl in here from North Dakota State. Someone I've gotten to meet through the Teach Tape side of things, connection to Keith Grabowski, just people doing it the right way and, trying to learn more and connect to this audience. So, Tyler, thanks for taking the time between all camps and recruiting and, just getting on here and talking some ball.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I look forward to it. Appreciate what you do for the game of football, the resources, the investment that you've made to help us as coaches continue to learn, continue to grow throughout the game. It's really impressive with what you've done.
Thank you. And it's been at the end of the day about people and using technology to find another side that maybe people aren't looking at. So it's really cool to hear different ways people are using it or kind of just connecting and building a different relationship. So I got to start with the scene behind me. I'm just going to move out of the screen here. Like there's 6 different sessions of camp here, bigs, O-line, quarterback, receivers. You got a small respite from the road to your camp circuit in Fargo, Tyler, but like, just give me a little bit of a recap on the last 3 weeks and then going into your own camps in Fargo. What have you kind of seen throughout catching up with these people and on the road?
Yeah, you wrap up spring ball and then get on the road right away. It's really important for us as coaches to get back into the schools where we have important ties, crucial ties, meaningful, lasting relationships with people that you trust. It's a big part about relationships is trust, because if you don't have trust, what do you have? So for us to get back out, to get on the road, evaluate kids' transcripts, evaluate any movement skills that we're able to see. It's really big for us. You have an idea going out on the road of who you're trying to look at, characteristics, recruitable traits, questions that you want to find out. Hopefully you had these kids on campus at least once, maybe twice. Maybe you got them up to a game in the fall, had them up for a junior day. So you've already have a level of connection with the athlete, with the student athlete and his parents. I think that's extremely important through this process. And then you're able to get in the school and they know how important that is, for us to be in the schools and how much that means to each and every kid. So being able to do that, being able to format and, maybe rearrange any recruiting board, who's a priority, what are priority areas, how many different places we can get to that helps us through this process is key. But it's all about finding out more about the person. It's always, I feel, the person over the player. We're at that school for a reason. You have the ability to watch highlights. You have the ability to watch tape, what have you, on Huddle, and it's just continuing to find more about the character of the student athlete, and that's what's important to us. I couldn't be any more concerned about a 5-star kid or a 4-star kid. I just want to make sure they fit our culture at NDSU, and it's finding kids who are of low ego for me. A person who's more concerned about, wins than statistics. People who are of high capacity, willingness to learn, to invest extra time into their studies, but also within game plans and finding the true ins and outs of the game plan, and people who do things with high character, and knowledgeable about what they're doing, but doing it the right way and finding more about the person, like I said. So really big 3 weeks for us. Excited to continue to move towards our camps. We have 2 big camps, like what's behind you. Fortunately, we have some new facilities on campus. We have a brand new $50+ million indoor facility. And then we have another field turf just to the be the east side of that. We have the Fargo Dome as well, our home stadium. We have another full 100-yard ball field, turf field that our soccer team uses. It's our old facility that we played on back in the 80s, early 90s. But now we've renovated that has field turf. So we have 4 full football fields, field turf, 2 which are indoor. So we'll have roughly 600 plus kids at 2 different camps, and we'll have a number of the Midwest Division II, Division III football coaches at our facility as well. So that's big in our recruiting process. And we're a 3-day football camp. It's football.
Right.
It's helmet and shoulder pads, and you have the ability to be around the kids on campus, form even further relationships, truly to find out, a lot more about the kid, and they can find more about us too,
100%.
because trust and connection goes both ways. So, really looking forward to June. June is definitely not an off month.
No.
It's a busy month for all of us in college football, and we're all looking forward to it up here in Fargo.
I could stop the podcast after that answer and we'd have a good episode, man. So thank you for going into a lot of different things, but I got to unpack this term of relationships, right? You can talk culture and the big C word that everyone just wants to universally throw over the top of things. But you're talking about, before we hit the record button, you're talking about having that area in South Dakota and Western Iowa for years and years and years. Right, man, you're from Fargo, you played there, you know that essence inside and out. Like, how have you maintained relationships, not just with a high school coach in the building or the new generation of player coming through there, but when they come on your campus, right? Because these guys aren't 5'4", like they're not ready-made guys that you're getting at, Football Factory U. What is that next step that, as a coordinator or a position coach, you feel like, man, we've done a really good job of barbecues or frisbee golf, or it's canceling an OTA and doing a water park day. Like, how have you just kept it fresh and true to your players and your relationships?
Yeah, you said it earlier. You win with people, because you do. You win with people, but you win with the right people, and it's those qualities that I talked about, and how you keep it fresh and new. I mean, we have so many different apps on our phone. With what we're doing right now, I feel like kids this day and age would much rather hop on a FaceTime and talk face to face than just being on a phone call. You have the ability to be on Snapchat and what have you, and be able to exchange messages and stay with the time, stay with what's being accessed and what's being used. So to be able to do that, and then when they are on campus, to find out the hobbies. Is it with any free time that they do have, are they playing games? Well, we've got a players lounge. We can go and play on the PS4, the Xbox, what have you. And another way to compete, but just to have conversation while doing something. You got pool table, dartboard, what have you, just to keep things fresh and new. And it all, again, goes back to the level of trust. And winning with people, but what does it take to be successful in the traits and the things I'm always going to hit on is trust. Because if you have a team that has a high level of trust and connection, that is crucial. And trust just doesn't happen on, hey, come on an unofficial visit. No, it's got to be a lot of time spent, having face-to-face conversations is if this is the way that we need to do it. Plenty of interaction. And you gotta spend time together. There's a level of energy, but it needs to be, I think, positive energy, because no one wants to be around someone who's negative, because positive energy is contagious, and having the right attitude, and an attitude of, we get to go do things together, not have to, having mindset and finding people who are willing to put in work with discipline, because it's not just, nothing is handed to us as individuals, as coaches, as players, what have you. There needs to be a level of discipline and work, yet accountability. I think that's a really big word, because myself, you need to be able to hold yourself accountable to a really high standard, but you need to be able to step out of our comfort zone to hold others accountable, knowing that's not a negative, we're trying to help them reach the standards know of what they can reach. Having a relentless work ethic, and then being, again, doing things with a high level of character. And again, that's for me what we're all about, and that's what we're continuing to find, and it's winning with the right people at NDSU.
And I'm just finding myself smiling, Tyler, because it even comes back to like the text me and you were shooting back and forth before, like accountability, trust, relationships. It doesn't stop and end in the building. It goes
Yeah.
home with you, right? It's the staff in the staff room. You talked about, man, can we move up the meeting so I can cut the grass because my daughter's birthday party's today? Like, you got to make time for that stuff, right? Like, or a new guy on the staff comes in and welcoming the family. Like, tell me a little bit more of like, man, you're the seasoned vet in that building. You've seen a couple different generations of success. Like, how do you guys feel like you've done that as a staff, like with the continuity, not just in the building, but with your families and your relationships as coaches? Because we got a lot of coaches listening to this, man, and it ain't always that way. We all know that year one is different. You got different people coming in, but if you can be that, veteran voice for Fargo, at least, and knowing that world, how have you guys done a good job at a staff level as well?
Yeah, I think consistency is key. um I don't know about everyone else, but for
Yeah.
me, I'm a routine driven person. And to have been in the same routine for going on almost 16 years, it's key. You know what to expect. You don't want to be mundane with the routine, but you know what to anticipate. You know how to be able to adapt and adjust to anything that may change within that routine. But for me, being from Fargo, uh, understanding, you know, the lifestyle, the people, the community, the embracement that people have, the investment that the community has in Bison athletics and Bison football. No, it's a neat place, and knowing where to helping new coaches, figure out where to live, where to go to school, what have you. Being in Fargo for almost 37 years, I can be the one who can help out, kind of direct, and but Fargo's just a great place with great people all over the place, in a different mix, a wide variety of people within the community. But from a player standpoint, knowing what to expect, there's going to be we're going to demand excellence in everything that we do. Yet on campus, in the community, there's a commitment to excellence for Bison football, for Bison athletics. So everyone's rallying together to stay committed to excellence, and our goal is to do things better than they've ever been done before. So we're working tirelessly. Again, staying true to our routines, true to our process. The things that have helped us have success, consistent success, is, I'd be remiss to say if it wasn't our strength coach, Jim Kramer. I think does an unbelievable job, him and his staff. The discipline that he teaches, the accountability, and then the way in which we practice with double rep and having truly two practices going on at once. And if you're a Bison, there's not going to be a lot of standing around and watching. There's truly, you're in there, you're doing it. I'm saying this as humbly as I can. A tight end at NDSU gets to go up against, some of the best defensive ends in FCS football, and competition breeds success. So to be able to go in and work against some of the top defensive ends in FCS football, day in and day out, rep in and rep out, it's going to make us better. It's going to make the DN better. And then, we work together offensively and defensively to make sure that we're helping see different looks, schemes, what have you, that they may see throughout the season. And we ask for the same thing in turn. So we're prepping the guys to get ready for different pressures, looks, alignments, fronts, coverages, adjustments to coverages, adjustments to shifts, just so we're all on the same page to prepare our guys to have success on Saturdays, and making practice as difficult as possible for them, so that when it does come game time, that the game is really easy to them. So it's all, having the consistent routine for us as coaches to continue to invest in the players to help them have a ton of success.
I love the consistency theme you're talking about. It's amazing how this stuff aligns, Tyler. Like, I had a 6-hour drive on the way up here to Limit One yesterday, listening to a Freakonomics podcast with Ari Emanuel, right? He's the founder of Endeavor. A lot more people know him as Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven, and Entourage. A lot of successful family members and all that. They asked him what's kind of his secret to success. Number one, he talked about consistency, whether it's the way he attacks his workout in the morning, nutrition. He's like, it's just something I can control. That's attitude and effort, right? What can you control? Attitude and effort, consistency. But the other thing he brought up was, I'm not indifferent about anything. It's either important or it's not. And if I can't handle it, I got to make sure it's important to somebody else. But I'm not indifferent. I don't just let things slide. I'm intentional. And I want to bring that up because clearly you guys are intentional at North Dakota State to stay sharp. And I think just people want to talk to you, Tyler, because it's not cookie cutter, right? You guys are making success in your own way, and it's worked long term. So talk to me about how you've stayed sharp as a coach, whether it's with the scheme, with more the technical side of things. And this is where I'm kind of leading to like the Grabowski connection, like even using coach paint in your presentations. Like, I think that is such an underutilized way of connecting the message to the players.
Yeah, staying sharp through communication. Communication, whether it be in person or doing Zooms like this. We all had the time during COVID to hop on Zoom and reach out to people, again, develop a relationship with other people and be able to pick their brain. And yet being able to help others as well if they're reaching out to you, and being able and willing to sacrifice time, not to be selfish for yourself and continue to learn from others, but to also give back to others and help others grow within the profession. So whether it be professional development at different colleges and universities, getting around different staffs, seeing just how they game plan, how they prep for a Thursday practice. I mean, there can be such a number of things that you can learn. I enjoy going to the NFL Combine and being around a bunch of the NFL personnel, NFL coaches, and whether it's even just sitting there on a Saturday, watching the Combine going on. You're sitting by different people and being able to pick their brain. Having people on campus, being open your doors to others to come in and invest time into them because they want to figure out, maybe what we're doing on our counter play or the play action off of it, what have you. I mean, you can go through a bunch of different things. But it's about the relationships. It's about developing. My opinion is it's got to develop trusting relationships. It can't just be here and there. You got to have trusting relationships to where people can count on you and say, yeah, he's telling me that, and that's correct. Now have to have, feedback back and forth and share ideas back and forth. Going on to Keith Grabowski and getting to know him and doing podcasts with him, and then, doing, I don't know if it was a 2-3 hour clinic tape, being able to give back to others within the profession. And I think that's so key in how he is able to present it, to push out the content and have a great relationship with him. And again, appreciate what he's been able to do for the game of football as well.
And I think there's a term that I've heard from my coaching career, and a lot of these similarities that you're talking about, I kind of think of Iowa State, right? You have your niche, you know who you are, you make sure you just do it the best way you can. And Coach Campbell would always talk about, is it transactional or is it transformational? Right? So are you talking with this person to get out what you need, or are you really here to build this thing out long term and it be mutually beneficial for everybody? Right? Is it a short-term fix or a long-term solution? So what I'm getting at here is, how do you use the next step all the way through from Carson Wentz to Trey Lance, Easton Stick? I'm gonna even throw Cody Mock in there too, of like the toothless wonder. Like, there's energy, there's passion, there's development. Like, I made the joke of, you brought up Easton Stick's name, of like the new Chase Daniel, the guy that you just can't get out of the building because he's a coach on the field and he does stuff the right way. Like, how do you feel like you're growing and staying sharp with not only those relationships, but connecting to those players and growing them from ragtag freshmen to, holy mackerel, these guys are in the NFL Combine?
Yeah. it's pretty neat. And you hit on the word. It's about development, but it's not just physical development. It's relationship development. It's personal development. It's personal investment. It's leadership, and it's transformational, not transactional. It's not personal success. It's having a significant legacy and helping the others reach their goals, because that's why we're in this position, in this profession. So for me, to have someone like a Carson, an Easton, a Trey, the development process of Cody, I think those guys keep you on edge as a coach.
Yeah.
They're so things
is there any common thread to those guys? I know they're probably so different personality, but like, is there anything that just like, man, there's a reason it worked out this way?
High football IQ, willingness to learn, willingness to invest time and sacrifice time to understand the why, the how of a defense and of the offense and how to attack. And the intentional questions that they would have within a game plan were pretty significant. And to be able to, me as an individual, stay on edge and help them, I need to continue to grow and can't be redundant with the teaching.
Sure.
Yet it's teaching is to inspire learning, and everyone learns differently. So how to understand how to reach each and every player differently to help them learn through the game is a challenge for us. And that's a challenge that we need to continue, because you're either green and growing or you're ripe and dying. And you need to continue to grow to help our players reach their ultimate success and find a way to put them in a position to have success. So no, I'd say football IQ, but willingness to work, willingness to learn, and having, personal philosophy of mine: show up early, outwork everyone, yet make those around you better or inspired to be better. And those guys had the traits. Cody was different because he came in as a 230-pound tight end and then transitioned to 300-pound O-lineman. But there's just a bunch of guys that we've had within the program that have those traits. And, what you learn here, you leave with, and you're going to go have a ton of success, because those traits that you can learn in college football across campuses, probably nationwide, are going to help you have success in the real world.
So, Tyler, me and you haven't known each other very long, but in our interactions, like, I just feel that willingness to learn is always present. You're taking notes, you're locked in. When you're there, right? 10 toes on the ground, be where your feet are, whatever it is. But like, how do you keep that in your personal life, right? I feel like there's so many hours. You can always be on edge. You can always be, 4th and 1 for the national championship every day, but there's only so much gas in the tank. So I feel like you're very comfortable in your own skin of who you are and what your process and what you're all about. I think part of teachable moments that I want to get to is just you exhale and you walk into that house, good day or bad day, win or lose, and like they don't really care, right? They're there. They want to be felt and seen. Like, how do you keep that with your family as well?
Yeah, if I'm not winning at home, I'm not going to win here in the office. So when I go home, that's the best, I don't know, profession that I'm in, being a dad, being a husband. So put the phone down for a while and truly intentional with my time at home. Because if my son is running up to me saying, "Hey, Dad, let's go play catch," and I say, "No, I'm busy," I'm never going to get that time back. So I'm in a period of time in my life that balance is key. And being able to, yeah, I might sacrifice a little bit on the front end in terms of returning a phone call to a recruit or returning a direct message, but I'm willing to sacrifice a few minutes to spend time and invest time in my kids and in my wife. And the other thing is, there's not a lot of hobbies. My hobby is football.
Yeah, that's somebody told me that too. Like your hobby ain't golf. You want to make the family time. That is your hobby. Like, acknowledge it and be good with it.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of time for golf, because you can't be a great golfer, a great coach, a a great husband, and a great dad. You can't do it. There's not enough time. So if I'm going to golf, it's 9 holes. I can't do all 18. And if it is, I may have got out 3 times last year. And there's sacrifice that you have to have. And you need to be smart and intentional with the time that you are at home, because I'm gonna done it again. If you're not winning within your own house, you're not gonna have a chance to win in the office and on the field. You have to have balance.
What's the one must have? Is it Thursday date night? Is it the boy on the field after Wednesday practice before you go back in? Like, is it donut Friday? Like, what's the must have? Is it breaking the film down at home on Sunday? Like, what's that? Like, man, that just recharges me in the moment.
Yeah, combination of two things after the game, a home game, being able to run around the field. I got a 7-year-old, an almost 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So to be able to, that's what they look forward to. They just want to run around the field.
Seriously, they want to experience it themselves, right?
Yeah, my son is getting to a point now with wins and losses and understanding the game of football, and he gets it. A couple years ago, he just wanted to run around on the field. Or my daughter just wants to see me, give me a hug, win or loss, and run around on the field. 2-year-old the same way. And then thankfully working for a guy like Matt Entz, ability to have our families up here on Sunday. Family is extremely important to him. So he doesn't care if there's 20 kids running around the offices on Sunday evening, and we're in the middle of game planning. We take, hour to an hour and a half and able to spend time with our families. Because, through the course of the week, there's not a ton of time. There's some time. But the combination of after the games and Sunday family dinner time to where we can have our kids up in the office running around, those are must-haves, because you're kind of turning the page, exhale after a game, turn the page to the next one where there's, you're probably not as anxious to get back to work in terms of hey, Tuesday's practice was great. Now we got to go get on short yardage and goal line. That just, you're able to kind of ease your mind and relax a little bit and truly enjoy the time you have with your family.
Well, Tyler, this has done the same thing for me today. I moved out of the sun. I'm here. We're going to go watch the one-on-ones here in a moment, but we talk about just some perspective and people and just taking it all in and learning and being willing to say, man, I don't know it all, right? I don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. Home, office. Like, if you're not winning at home, you're not winning at the office. That's what I'm taking away, man. So thanks for jumping on. I hope you have a great rest of the day with your people, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you.